Hey guys, welcome back to the Home Gym. Coach Carp here with another home gym video. Now this is an item that it's getting a lot of buzz out there. This is the GetRX Phoenix Tower with the weight stack. So stay tuned and we're gonna check it out. Guys, welcome back. We're gonna be taking a look at this Phoenix Tower from GetRX. I want to take a different spin on it. I know there's been some reviews and things that have came out on it. I think I was one of the first to actually receive this cable tower. I've had it since I ordered on the original pre-order. And yes, I did pay for this machine. It wasn't sent to me free for review. I did work out a discount with them to make some content and things with it, but I did buy this, use my own money. It wasn't something that was provided for me for free. So just want to let you guys know that up front. I do have an affiliate link with GetRX. So if you do end up liking this tower, after we get done talking about it, feel free to use my link in the description. I'll put that down there. That will support the channel. Maybe more of a buyer's guide, let's say. So on Black Friday right now, they have the cable tower and they have the new Viper tower 10% off, which is a pretty sweet deal on this. Overall, I like the tower. I plan on keeping it for a good while, unless something else better comes along or I get a better opportunity. But right now, I really like it. I want to dive into some of the things that I wish I knew ahead of time and some of the nitpicks and things. I want to get those out of the way. So let's just go over some of those first and answer some of you guys' questions. Some of you guys have been submitting me questions, so I want to get those answers for you too. And if you guys know anything about my channel, if I get a new piece of equipment in, I just try to work it into my normal routine. So if I have squat, bench, deadlift, and then lat pull downs and cable work after that, all the cable work and things were done on this machine. And some new ones that I haven't been able to do previously because I didn't have this type of machine. So came in a large wooden crate, opening the crate. Every little piece was individually boxed inside the crate, which has been different. I've got some other crate deliveries from other companies in the past, and they may have just been thrown in there with bubble wrap and things like that. This one actually came, all the pieces were individually boxed and possibly bubble wrapped inside the box. That was a pretty nice experience. The only problem with that is then you have to find out how to get rid of the crate, but I was able to donate the wood and things like that. So that's definitely something you want to look into. Moving on into assembly, I got the piece of equipment, had a few issues with it. So the front upright is a hard chrome. It's supposed to be slick, like stainless steel, so the trolley will move up and down easily. And what actually happened was, though, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it has several dings, scuffs, scrapes. Every hole had burrs in it and things like that, where I even got a couple pieces of metal in my finger. And so I reached out to GetRX. They did offer to replace it or give me a partial refund, and that I could take care of myself. I just took this credit. I think it was like they offered me $150 back, and then they said I could use that money to get a burr machine and deburr this myself. So that's the route I went. But you'll see there's not smooth to the touch. It has little speckles in it, little flakes and indentions. The trolley still moves okay on it, but it probably could be a little smoother because actually the matte black upright, which is traditionally rougher, on this machine is actually smoother than my chrome upright. So that's just something to be aware of. The chrome looks okay from far away, but if you get up on close on it, you'll see all the little scuffs and little pieces of little burrs. Like the laser cut holes were not cut all the way through, or when they did cut them, they didn't go through and machine any of them, where it's not like that on the black upright, or it's like the matte black. It actually is like a dark gray. Like some little things on the machine, I'll give you pictures and B-roll and clips and things like that. On the trolley does have rollers. So I don't know if you ever seen the tornado arms came out. There was a big thing. It was the trolley was too heavy, but they had a sheath that was sliding up and down, where these does have rollers. So the trolley is double the size. It actually, they say it's a 39-pound trolley, but when I weighed it, it's about 45 pounds. So it's very heavy. Like if you're not paying attention, that thing could woo you all the way down. So it's heavy. That's something to note. Even with the rollers, if it didn't have rollers, it'd probably be unusable. But since it does have rollers, you're able to move it fairly well, especially if you counterbalance that hand. So the trolley is going to be heavy. It's supposed to be 2-to-1 with when you're doing one pull, and 1-to-1 when you combine the pulleys. They don't give you a way to combine the pulleys, but they do have, it only comes with these two D handles, which are fairly nice D handles. For free, they're pretty good. They don't provide you with a way to connect it unless you use the carabiners that come with it. It does come with two carabiners with the D handles. Unless you combine those two carabiners, they don't provide a way with it to actually connect it. But I did have a Kaizen multi-link already, so you can just use the Kaizen multi-link to convert these into a 1-to-1 pull. Or if you just pull them both at the same time, they're 1-to-1. So that's how you get the 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. which is fine. I actually like having that option to go back and forth between 1-to-1 and 2-to-1. But the problem with that is on the weight stack, it's supposed to go from 10 to I think to 210 pounds. It's either 10 to 210 or 200. So depending on how you configure this, what they didn't take into account is they put a weight stack pin, which is what locks your pin to the actual plates. But when they did that, they added a band peg holder here. So you can attach bands to the top and bottom if you need to add weight instead of using a gym pin or something like that. But when they did that, this attachment piece goes on top of the plate. So then it covers up the weight stack pin hole. So then you have no place to put your weight stack pin. Now it is magnetic. So you could just set it on top or try to stick it to something else, magnetize or throw it up there in the middle. But that's just a bummer. They added the hole, I think after Gluck and other people told them they needed to. But when they added the band peg adapter to it, the band peg covers up the place where you put the pin. So basically the pin is unusable. And then you just have a dangling pin or you put it up here. Now I mentioned this to them and they did offer a third party option, which I'd have to just go buy on my own. I think there's a Pinterest or a Etsy shop where they have a little thing that sticks on top of it, which have the pin here and then buy a third party option. What I was hoping they were going to do is put the band peg holder in a different location or something like that, or just scrap it all together. I may just take it off because that's one thing that bothers me, because the start weight on here, the plate is 10 pounds and each plate is 10 pounds. So you should have 10 pounds. But what they probably didn't take into account is the actual weight of the weight stack pin, the band peg holder, the band peg attachment, and the actual plate. So instead of having an ideal 10-pound start weight that goes to 5 pounds, what you have is a 20-pound start weight that goes to 10 pounds. So you can't get it less than 10. You can't get it less than about 10 pounds. And I'll show you. I use my scale to show that. The band peg holder on top and the weight stack pin is about 4 to 5 pounds by themselves. So if you take that off, then your weight stack pins are not going to be the right math either. So what I wish they would have done to fix that is make this top plate smaller plate, like you see on Fringe and some other companies have made a smaller plate to account for the weight of the plate stack pin and the rollers and trolleys and the weight stack and the band peg holder. Because if all that was factored in, you could actually have a smaller top plate and then you would have 10-pound jumps. Because even I thought about doing it, even if I haven't put the weight stack numbers on here because I think I might get a custom side panel that has the correct weights on there, or just scrap the band peg holder altogether. Even though I like it being on there as an option, it messes up the weights. So I can either put all the weight stack numbers on there and just say, forget it and just ignore that they're not correct. Or is that OCD going to drive me crazy? So I may get my own made from Plate Snacks or someone else, or just put them on there and just deal with it. But I really wish that would be accurate. It's just not as it is. Because no matter how you configure it, it's either going to be heavier than you would like, or you have to take the weight stack pin off, and then the ratio is going to be odd in the other direction. So, and then one other thing too on the weight storage, which is one of the questions I got: can you put weight storage on the back, and will it hit the weight stack or the weight stack of the band pegs? No, you can't. Not at least for 45s. If they're smaller plates like 25s, 10s, 5s, you can. But if you put a weight horn on the back here and have a 45-pound plate like you would do on the back of a power rack or something like that, they will hit the band peg. So on my 35s and my 45s, if you put a plate here, they will run into the weight stack band peg. So you'd have to take those off. I think they're working on a workaround, but since this is the early model, the original model, I don't have any of those upgrades that they may be working on. So if they do a weight adapter pin, maybe you guys will get that option. But right now, they were telling me my only option was really just to do a 3D printed option or add some to the top, which I really didn't want to do. So you can store weights on the back of it if you put the weight horn toward the rear. So also some weird things like on the bolts on here. I like that GetRX does the all black bolts and washers, mostly because they don't. You'll see all the perimeter. I'll show you some clips and stuff. It's got black lock washers and black nuts pretty much around the whole entire thing. The only chrome really on here is the knobs, the pull knobs, the chrome colors, the pull knobs, the knurling, and then the pulleys are the aluminum color pulleys. So you could say hard chrome or aluminum colored pulleys or pull knobs. But what you'll notice is on some of this thing like the Trolley, I don't know if they just didn't notice it, or for me, it's one of those things, once you see it, you can't unsee it. On my Trolley here, I have a black bolt, a chrome washer or bright zinc washer. So those don't match, which to me is kind of goofy. And it's in multiple places. It's not like somebody forgot one and put it. The whole thing is like that. It goes black bolt, bright zinc washer. Then it goes black bolt, bright zinc washer. And then when you get over here to the Trolley, you have zinc bolt, black washer, black bolt, zinc bolt. And then same thing on the front. You've got a black washer, a black nut, a black nylon nut, but the bolt inside there is a bright zinc bolt. Just odd to me. I don't know why they do that. It's one of those things that once you see it, you can't unsee it. You come up here and then you have silver screws or zinc screws on the little plates that are on here. But on the backside, they have black nuts. So it just looks mismatched and looks like something not attention to detail, no care, fit and finish. If you're going to do black, just make them all black, please. Because even this one is like, it's basically Oreo or reverse Oreo. You got black with zinc, then you got black with black, and then black with zinc. So there's 3 different bolts here, and they're different. So I don't know why they did that. It's just goofy. So hopefully they fix that. It's a small thing, doesn't affect the function, but it's one of those things that will just drive you crazy. And then the only other thing I ran into that was a real issue, besides the way of the Trolley, I got some twist here in the cable. And I've traced it back through and tried to tighten up the cable. The cable is already on the highest setting. I've got this screwed in as much as I can get it. And so there is a little tiny bit of cable slack. You'll see it wants to twist right here at this triple pulley. So it'll get a little twist in there like this. It's gotten a little bit better. I've tried to tighten it up and rerun it again, but it still wants to do that. But there's only 3 notches here on this back of the Trolley. So I don't have anywhere. Maybe if I had 1 more inch or another ½ inch, I could tighten it up more. There's 3. Maybe if we had 4 or 5 different ones on the back of the Trolley, you could adjust your cable length. So I'm at the last one. I can't go anymore. You can see the swivel connectors it comes with, carabiners. I did get the swivel shackles. So since I've got those and reran it, it did that some. There's a little bit of twist in there. And it doesn't really do it when you get to the heavier weights. On the lighter weights, you'll see that in there. But it'll do the swivel shackle. It hasn't got much worse. It's kind of helped out with that. So I would definitely recommend getting those swivel shackles if you're going to because you can twist that all day and it's not twisting the cable. It's just the handle twisting. So when you're doing a lot of movements, take the stress off the cable so you're not getting that twisting. Because once you get twisting in there, you pretty much have to just run the whole thing again. One thing on the swivel shackles, though, I had to order multiple sets from Amazon because I would get a box of 2 or 4 and only one of them would spin. So there may be some quality issues there. I had to return 2 or 3 boxes of them to get a set that works. So now I have 4 of them that they spin great. So they all spin great. There's not any issues now. But I had some of them where they were either bent or they would lock up right here. So you just be aware that if you order those swivel shackles, you may have to do it a few times to get a set that matches or that's right for you. Okay, now we got the bad stuff out of the way. Now here's all the stuff that's great and I like about it. So I wanted you to be aware of that. I'm not trying to give you sunshine and rainbows and make you think it's awesome. I do like the tower. And it's about a 93-inch height. So me being 6'2", I'm able to get a full stretch by sitting on a bench and still getting a full stretch because the Trolley arms, they give you 7 different positions up and down. And then I can even do pulls when I'm all the way to the highest level. That's actually too high where I can't reach it. So when I'm doing lat pull downs, I actually go 1 down. Even if I'm doing a 2-to-1 or 1-to-1, I like to I'll do single arm and different kind of stuff like that. I'll attach it with that Kaizen adapter and do regular lat pull downs. So that works great for all that stuff. Super setting because you have 7 different adjustments vertically and 7 different adjustments horizontally. So you can go all the way back to here behind the actual rack and pull from there if you needed to. So you can also do that the other way, reverse it and go all the way down and pull from that angle. So have this all the way down. You can do all kinds of different movements. Really increased a lot of the versatility in my gym. Prior to this, all I had was like a surplus strength, high and low pulley. It's just a single pull point. Didn't have any of the versatility to do flies and things like that. So one of the cool things about it is with these arms, it doesn't take up that much of a footprint because you can roll a bench in front of it. When you're not in use, you can take the bench and roll it somewhere else. I did not get the front feet. I don't really think I need it Some of the back for storage. It's all 3x3 1-inch holes. So I do have their center post on here. I do have the foot plate / leg holder here. And then all my different attachments. You can't do plate storage back here really, but you can do, like I have some small tiny change plates, drink spotters, band pegs, mag pin, different collars and things like that. So you can do, that's what I love about the 3x3. You can just stick stuff back here, try different things. You could put another pulley back here as a pull point. If you want to do some kind of weird angle, you could run a pulley from here to here because you have the versatility of the 3x3, which makes it really cool. And I'll show you guys some clips and all things of me using it, some of the different movements I got. So one of the questions I got was, what's the cable travel like? Mid-level weight stack, what's the travel like? Because that takes up a lot of the guide rails. But on 2-to-1, you'll see 2-to-1, you typically have more cable travel. So I can go all the way over here to the corner of the gym. You may not even be able to see me anymore. And I'm in the corner and I can't even pull it all the way to the top. So if I keep pulling, I've got about another foot that I could go without hitting the top. And the top does have that little UHMW piece up there, which is really nice because if you do bang it on accident, this UHMW is going to hit that roller. But as I layer it down and I walk back into the shot, you'll see that's how much cable travel you have. So on 1-to-1, it's not as much. You can only come out to about right here, which is still pretty decent. But if you're going to be doing flies and things like that, you're going to want to be out here and you could run out of cable travel. So what I would recommend everybody do is get some cable extenders or get you some of these daisy chains. They have them in different colors. These are the red ones. And you can just clip in those daisy chains and you basically extend your cable travel by another 3 or 4 foot. So I could go all the way out here to my car without even hitting the top of the stack with the daisy chains. So if you want something where you can do a lot of fly movements and things like that, now it doesn't have to be just this Phoenix cable tower. You can do that with any lat pull down thing you have. So don't ever let them tell you that Carp's Gym didn't give you the hacks and the ways to do things. Whether you buy this or not, and you have one of these cable towers, you might want to get you some daisy chains anyway, because look how much further you can come out. I haven't even picked up the cable yet, and I've got this much travel. And people want to know, what's the width of it? If you put this all the way out, you're about 49 inches, which is the same as what a standard rack would be. So if you're doing like the Rogue RM6 or the Fringe Dane or a Rep Aries or Athena or any of those other machines, that's about what kind of cable travel you're going to get. But on this, with the daisy chains, you get that 49 inches, but you can really step out. I mean, and your width, it's almost like you're at a commercial gym. It feels like I've got a 75-inch space when you put those daisy chains on there. So, you can shrink that up. You can use all these different hooks to shrink it up or whatever. If you only need a foot of cable, you can come up here and double it over and do it like that. So definitely get these if you're going to get this Phoenix machine or any other cable machine, because it adds a lot of versatility and you can do crazy stuff with it. I mean, you can be out here doing chops, whatever you want to do. So definitely get the daisy chains, get the swivel shackles. It adds a lot of versatility to your machine. You guys to know, I've got a lot of questions on it. Would you buy this again? Yes, I spent my own money on it. Like I said, they gave me a discount, but I would highly recommend it. I think the 2 pull points, make it pretty sweet. You're not really going to be able to do unilateral unless you're doing one arm at a time and then switch arms, because even if you're holding it, you're still going to be moving that same amount of weight. But if you want to do something like unilateral or pauses, you could hold the cable on one end and keep it under tension. Like I do that with dumbbells and things like that. You could do the same thing with cable work, but you're pulling that same stack. So if you wanted to do that, what you should probably do is do single arm on one, then switch arms and do single arm on the other. It'd be the same weight instead of you moving the same weight back and forth. So there's a different way to do it. Or you could do 2 pull points and get that full 1-to-1 ratio. Like I said, it goes all the way to the top and you can go all the way down here. And then these go up and down. So you're able to articulate these, whatever. You're about an inch off the ground. With the swivel shackle or the carabiner, it's actually touching the ground. So if you want to do things like, curls, low to high curls, or chest flies, I mean, you're you're closer than you're going to be anywhere at a commercial gym or anything like that, because of the arm, you're actually an inch off the ground. So you get a lot more range of motion, and it works for things like, chest supported rows and things like that. You can roll a bench up here on an incline and do things like that. Some of my most favorite movements on here have been just the standard lat pull downs, single arm lat pull downs, the chest flies, high to low chest flies. Like I used to do those at a commercial gym, but I haven't been able to do them at home. And then even something like pull throughs and things, instead of hip thrusts, I was able to set this up to do pull throughs, chest supported rows, even side laterals when I didn't have dumbbells. So you can pretty much do any kind of cable work or dumbbell work in some variation by using the cable tower. So that's one thing to look at. If you don't have dumbbells or you have a limited set and you want to get a lot of that versatility, a tower like this can really do it well for you. And it is taller than most of the other ones I've seen out there. Get RX items that you might want to look at too is the center mount post. I have that. I purchased that, and I purchased the leg roller. So you probably definitely want those if you're going to be doing lat pull downs and things like that, because you need something to keep your feet in. You could just use a regular roller, but the center mount is so much better because you can just clip it on here, and it has a pop pin. It'll go up and down. So you can literally get underneath it, find your position, and then pull the pop pin and drop it down on your legs so you get a tight fit. I really like that. Okay, here's a little close-up on this leg roller low row foot plate. And it has a pop pin over here on this side, and it has all these different levels of adjustment. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that you have. You can go up and down, set it up when you want to get underneath it, and then you can pop that down, put it right on top of your legs. Or if you want to go all the way down to low rows, you can have it facing this way, put your feet right here, and you have a couple different ways to do that. And then it just has a mag pin right here. You want to give it a little bit of pull up to pull it out sometimes, but it's really a nice mag pin. It's a magnetic hitch pin, mag pin. That's their mag pin right there. And it just slides on like that. And then you put that hitch pin in there. It's made for metric or imperial. So you see that gap. If you had an imperial rack, that allows for that imperial rack to fit. The only thing I don't like about it is there's quite a bit of play here, a big gap in there, which would be good because it should fit. It should fit on imperial racks because of that give. But if you're going to use it on this attachment, it should be about 2 millimeters thicker in there. So that way you won't get any play. You could even probably do 1 millimeter on each side. I may do that and add some type of plastic or something in there, or tape to thicken it up, because you can always add to it. You can never take it away unless you just remove the plastic altogether. So it's kind of cool that they add that in there so it'll work on Rogue and other imperial companies, but on their own attachment, it doesn't fit very well. So I'm probably going to do the Eugene hack and add some thickness to that, because when you add a couple of layers to that, I mean, it's going to be rock solid. Right now, it moves around a lot. So that's one thing I would change, is just make this plastic thicker, but I can DIY that, and I'm probably going to. But that's just something fit and finish wise that would make it nicer if it worked right out of the box on their own equipment. Then way too much wobble. So just something to be aware of. But I like the attachment overall. It's one of the better foot rollers I've seen as an attachment. That's not just a standard roller. You don't need this. You could just get a regular roller, but you'll be really close. I like this because it folds down and you can use it as a foot plate too. So check that out. So if I was going to buy this tower, I would go to the weight stack version. I think it's about $2,000 with the discount. So, put that in your cart and use the discount right now. I think there's 10% off. But I would definitely use that savings, or think about it, at least getting the leg roller as part of that savings. You could technically get maybe a free leg roller if you use that 10% off right they're doing right now. And then look at the center mount attachment, because that could help you, do extensions or add to your regular rack if you have another rack. But I would get daisy chains, I would get swivel shackles, and then from GetRx, I would purchase their leg roller, footplate leg holder, and then get yourself a multi-link. This is from Kaizen DIY, his version. I think there's also a Bells of Steel version, and GetRx has their own version on their website. I'll throw that on the screen as well. Really want to save money. They do have a plate loader version. I haven't used that, but you can check out Gluck's Gym or some other guys that have it. There is a plate loader version that I think would still work well. You might actually get a little bit more cable travel on that. But I would still recommend buying some daisy chains, getting yourself some swivel shackles, getting yourself some type of multi-link like this, and then the leg roller, the foot plate leg roller attachment, and then the center mount if you think you really need one. But those three things would make this cable tower pretty awesome, and you can do most anything with it because you have a heavy stack. If you want to, you can even add more weight and band pegs. If 200 pounds is not enough for you, you can add band pegs and things to it. So also a gym pin is available. I don't currently have a gym pin. I've got one on the way. So maybe by the time this comes out, I'll have it. I can show you some clips and B-rolls and I'll throw them in there. This is one of the best on the market for the price. Even though I had some issues with it, you know, they fixed some of the issues. On one, I almost forgot a question I did get. The trolley, yes, the trolley is heavy. They are working on a counterbalance system that would go right here in the middle somewhere that would make the trolley like 20 pounds lighter or something like that. I'm not sure the exact number, but that would make it easier to go up and down. So that's something that could be an upgrade down the road. I'm probably not going to buy it unless they just want to send it to me. And I think they're updating these band pegs and things. But if you're like me and you bought early, that's just what you got to deal with. Or maybe you can purchase an upgrade down the road, but they're not sending out those upgrades to the early adopters or the early buyers. So maybe if you're down the road, these questions and these answers will help you make a decision. Maybe you'll get a better version than I did. But as is, this version, I like it a lot. And I'm going to keep it probably for a long time unless something can knock it out of the way. And as of right now, I don't see that happening. But never say never. Nothing's forever. I would recommend it to you. If you wanted something, you're interested in the Viper Tower or the plate loader version, look at some other videos. I know Paired and Powered Up is going to have one coming out on the Viper Tower. And they are longtime tonal owners. So they're going to be able to compare it to the tonal, you know, a dual arm functional trainer. But I really like the single stack functional trainer. I really wanted to look at this when it was just the RX'3. So they do have that available too. But I think if you're going to do it, you got to go with the one that has the tornado arms. So thank you guys for watching. Please go watch one of these other free videos. Maybe we'll come out with another video where we just do workouts on it. But I really going to give you this buyer's guide and answer y'all's questions on here while the sales go on for Black Friday. So thank you for watching and go lift, baby. Woo!
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Extender handles or some daisy chains.